Good day to you, my fellow endoskeletons, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are visiting the Quasar Systems ship shop, and we're going to be starting one of the back rooms here with these lovely ships in it. So let's get started. So just quickly before we get started, just wanted to point out one small thing. A lot of the ships in this shop are by Cody, and Cody does a lot of recreations of real life planes and does other themed ships. So for example, the one in front of us here is some sort of police car. He's also got tanks and a helicopter, so they're not normal what you would consider spaceships, and they have a very good theme to them. They're all very well done, but it's just going to be a little bit different from some of the stuff in this shop. But to start us off, we do have this police car, and this one is called the Swine. So another good thing to point out here is they have finally made the switch to ships needing ore so you can purchase them. You can't just buy ships for credits anymore. I've been mentioning this in pretty much every video coming up, and the devs have been saying this has been coming for months. So you can either buy it with just the ore that you need here, or you can use the parts in your ship's storage, which I will turn off. When you turn that off, you will see here there is a whole bunch of different materials needed for this specific ship. Some of them are pretty rare, like the Zalium, and some of them not so rare, like Agitite for example. You have the amount of kilovoxels you need and the amount of stacks that you need here as well. Now I'm currently at a different station, so I have 0 stacks here, and right at the bottom you get the total amount of stacks that you need and the assembly cost. And you'll notice this is way cheaper than what ships used to be costing. This is because beforehand it was buying all the ore at base price from the station. That is no longer available, and you have to have the ores to purchase any ships in the ship shops. Right, now to get started on this ship. The Swine, made by Cody, is a police vessel that features everything the best officer needs to succeed. The ship is equipped with 3 different sirens, warning lights, a horn, a swine ornament, 2 cargo lock frames, contraband, 2 endo holding cells, flashing lights, a moose bumper for head-on collisions, landing gear, and the ISAM mono navigation system. And the building cost for this one is just under 400,000 credits, providing you've got the ore. So this thing seems to be covered in lights. We've got red and blue lights everywhere, and it's looking pretty cool. So let's get these doors open. Let's have a look at these holding cells. These are manual doors. Oh, what we got here? There's your cargo lock field. So this side is not the holding cells. Let's just shut that up a little bit just to get that out of the way. Got another door here. These are all manual hatches, which is pretty funky. None of these are connected. So here's where you would access the coolant and swap that over on your ship when it needs replacing. Got more lights here. Coming around the back, we have some cool scratches that have been taken from another ship. Shame they don't go all the way, but it does give it a pretty cool little look for these like fins coming off the back with the maneuver thrusters. He's used some coloured thrusters here. Unfortunately they still have this green stripe. Hopefully that'll be fixed before launch, and these are all tier 1 thrusters. On the back here we have another hatch. This will be for your generator fuel rod, and you can swap that out easy peasy. This side I believe is the holding cells, so cells big enough just to store 1 endo. Now while that does sound cool and the endo in here can't get himself out, he can always just log off, and he will be left in the position where he logged off. So if your ship is moving, he is suddenly outside your ship. But it's really cool. Looks like it's got some bars on. Maybe you can have a good bit of roleplay with this ship. Moving on to the front here, we've got these big doors to get into the main cockpit, and we've got 2 main seats in here. Now something to point out, there's the little piggy, the little swine ornament, and there's also what looks like a coffee cup here, because, you know, what police officer doesn't like a good cup of coffee? So if we jump over to this side, we can see here, just turn the light off there, we've got the little piggy, and your coffee cup is nicely within reach. The controls are nicely laid out across the dashboard of the car here. Let's see if we can fire up some of these sirens. Okay, so we've got lights here but no noise. Whale. No. Oh, I may have turned these off in the settings, so give me 2 seconds. There we go. That is the default siren apparently. the whale. Doesn't seem to be working. And fierce, or is that pierce or fierce? I can't quite read it. Too many damn flashing lights. Pierce, okay. Then we've got W right, W left, don't know what those are. Honk. There you go, that's pretty cool. We've got battle mode. Cool, got some lights in the cockpit. W flash. Let's jump out. Let's see, so warning flashes. Orange lights telling you to pull over. Jumping back in, we've also got W Sol. What's that for? Oh, that just keeps the orange lights on. That's pretty cool. Turn that off. Let's turn off the battle, and we will turn on just the whale again. I think maybe they might have changed the sound device, so that would normally be a wailing siren, but is not the case anymore. That certainly doesn't sound like a siren. Yeah, I think they've definitely changed the sounds there, which is a bit of a shame. Now we've also got, jumping in here, let me change this. There we go. We got a drop down screen. If I can just get it to the right angle. No, this way. There. And this has got, there you go, wanted criminals, high profile, space terrorism, love it. Reckless fly, oh, I love it. Nice little data pad there, just for you to quickly pop in some notes should you need to. That's pretty cool. And that just folds up out of the way so it doesn't block your vision too much. A little bit on this side. You could turn it all the way around and close it, but if you did that, you wouldn't be able to access the handle, so it's not something I'd recommend. You want to leave it as open as possible. So yeah, that's very, very cool. So you've got your ISAN coordinates here as well as the standard stuff that you would expect to see. And apparently this has weapons as well. Currently don't work. Let's jump on out. We can open the side door from inside as well. Come on. No, doesn't want to open. Okay, we'll get out the other way. It's not a problem. Is there... Where are these weapons hiding? That's the question. Here? Is that a rail? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this car, police spaceship, is loaded with a rail cannon. That's pretty nuts. On the underside, just more lights, decoration, loving all the colours here. That looks pretty cool. And we've got some beams here with minimal plating just to act as landing feet, which is pretty cool. At the back we've got just a single mono receiver, and you can recharge your ship from here using the resource bridge. So that is pretty nifty. So if you want to police the space around your station and do it in style and act like a real policeman, then this is the ship for you. Hopefully Cody can get all these new sirens sorted out and get them back to where they should be. But yeah, pretty funny little ship there. And even if you just want to use it as a personal cruiser to fly from station to station, it'll be good for that too. Now you can see we've got 3 ships, all nearly exactly the same here. The only difference between all of them are the weapons. We've got one with plasma, one with lasers, and one with autocannons. So let's have a little look at this one. Flying around here, we've got striking red and white colour scheme. All tier 1 thrusters, that's the blue ones. And really nice looking design here. We've got the ammo guarded on the weapons, which is always useful to have, otherwise they will blow up nearly immediately should they be shot. This has got very powerful side thrust here, in addition to just the normal maneuvering thrusters you see at the front and the back. We've also got triangle thrusters here, but its main power is of course to strafe up and down, as we can see from these 4 triangle thrusters here, and again repeated on the bottom. This has got pretty strong strafe capabilities. We've got a single mono receiver here, and we've got extra hard points to add more weapons. Although how much this will take in terms of power requirement for these new weapons, we'll have to wait and see. Overall, it looks like a really cool little ship. It reminds me of the Orca from Command & Conquer, and I absolutely love the design in that game, and I think they've followed it through to this as well. It makes it stand out really, really nicely. So let's just jump in and have a quick read about this ship. This is the Wolverine Plaz for plasma cannons. Refurbished from the early tournament days, the Quasar Systems Wolverine is a reliable, flexible light brawling fighter with a suite of standard quality of life features for combat pilots. Its unusually high strafing capacity makes it ideal for manoeuvring around stations and asteroid belts, though its lower top speed makes it better for fighting in an area than covering a distance. This version of the Wolverine is equipped with 4 plasma throwers, and they have recently been renamed plasma cannons, finally, and has extra hardpoints to support additional weapons and secondary fire group. Flight time 0.9 hours for propellant and 4.5 hours of fuel. Top speed of 130 meters per second, and the core features of ISAN mono, control sensitivity, aim mode, slow mode, and transponder pings. Now if we just quickly turn this off, we can see that this has got a pretty hefty cost in ore. That thallium is going to be really hard to get hold of, but for the most part there's not too much rare ore in here. Quite a bit of plutonium and some arcanium in here. It's also going to be painful to get hold of, but other than that, the rest of this should be fine. Perhaps maybe not the tengium. They might need to look at that. Tengium is now going to be a moon ore, I believe. So yeah, that's going to need to be looked at. But yeah, only $500,000 for the construction cost of this one. But yeah, that amount of ore is definitely going to stack up. So let's jump in and have a little look-see on the inside. So we've got this little hatch here. Is there a button for the hatch? Can we close this, or is it all manual? Oh, there's the hatch button. Hidden away up here. Oops. So there we go. That's what it looks like with the hatch fully closed, nice and tucked in underneath the ship there. Very cool. Jumping in, we can see it's a very tight fit here inside the middle of the craft. You've got access straight away to coolant cells in here for emergency coolant. We've got a light in here, and we can shut the hatch from in here as well. Oh no, that's for maintenance hatches. Oh, okay. Let's go check those out first, and we'll go through the rest of the ship. So, maintenance hatches, where have you opened? On top, here we go, there we go. So if you want to change the fuel rods, they are in the middle at the top of the ship there. Oh, and we've also got very sneaky tiny little ones here for the fuel tank on both sides of the ship. So pretty cool. I don't think there's any other hatches, nothing at the front here. We do have the resource bridge right there as well. But let's jump back into the ship. Hopefully it can stop all this buzzing. We got a light there, hatch, there we go, on the other side. So yeah, fully enclosed in, and the light inside is optional, just situated right at the back here. Nice to see everything labelled here, so you know what chip does what. We've got ISAN nav data, we've got turret and RF alarm, res track and aim, just got data there, and then some information about the ship and who it's made by, which is of course Daggerin. Further back, we've got a fire button for the ship here, and if I can just kneel down or land, there we go. All the controls are tucked in between the beams here, not in the middle of the cockpit. So if we jump to the cockpit now, it won't let me in. There we go. The cockpit has a great field of view, but something I've noticed here is the seat is at a slight angle, or at least it feels like a slight angle. So so up is there and down. Yeah, so it just feels like we're already pointing down to start with. We've got a little turn switch here. I'm not sure what that's for. Turning the ship on and off, I think, maybe? Doesn't seem to do anything in either position. So yeah, not sure what that one's for. But start on the left here, we have a hatch and a hatch safety and a brake. We've got FCU forwards, that'll be your forward thrust, how much forward thrust you've got. Back here we've got cruise and the landing modes, that's pretty cool. We've got a combat button here, no doubt to bring up the generator to the sufficient rate to fire the weapons as well as fly the ship. We've got weapon power to turn the weapons on and off, and of course fire button. Slow, I'm guessing set RNG 1, set RNG 2, we set range on the rangefinders most likely. And we've got the rangefinder button here, RF. Obviously it's hitting the wall, so we can't really tell the difference. We'll turn that off because it's making a noise. And we've got an aim button. That looks like it's not a toggle, so you would just set a key for that in your keybinds. Hold that down, and what these aim buttons normally do is reduce the speed at which something can turn, so you get more accurate aim at the cost of being able to turn quickly. So you hold it down, do your fine aim control and shoot your weapons, and then let go and continue your normal flight. Lots of stuff in the middle of the screen here, including an ice and cycle button, which cycles the screen above it between position, orientation, velocity. So really cool stuff there, just to save a bit of space on this cockpit area. You've got your standard stuff like battery, there's some reserve power, and you've got left and right heat for the weapons, no doubt, and left and right ammo for the weapons, so you know if you've run out of weapon ammo on one side or if just the gun's been broken to the point where it doesn't want to work anymore. One of the really good things about this particular ship is that it has sensitivity control built in. Now, with a lot of ships, they're normally tuned to fly a certain way when you buy them, and if you wanted to change that, you'd need to go find a lever. So we'll take this one for example, and we'll go to the data tab for this lever. Just quickly reopen that, and you'll see that there's the main name and the values, and it will have a certain max value and a minimum value, and you would tweak these as well as the how fast it will move and whether it centers or not. So you would tweak all these values to be able to set up how your ship flies. This, on the other hand, has pitch, yaw, and rotation, and you can turn these values up and down. So you can set that up there by clicking, or you can just hold it down, and you can turn up and down these sensitivity settings by using these flip switches. This is really cool and allows each pilot, especially important on combat vessels, allows each pilot to customize the controls to where they're happy flying it for their level of skill. Really cool settings here, and I think pretty much every combat ship should come with one of these, because it just makes it easier for the owner of that ship to then customize it to their skill. Very important. Very cool. We've got two buttons here. You can turn your transponder on and off either permanently, or there is a ping button which will turn it on for a short period of time, where it will ping and then it will most likely turn off. There you go, automatically. All handled by the inbuilt YOLO for the ship, and you just have to push a button, and then you know that you haven't accidentally left on your transponder. Very useful if you're in a combat situation and you just want to verify who you are and just let people come to you, but not leave it on all the time, because then you'll become a great big target for everyone. Down the bottom here we have reset steer and reset sensitivity. So these buttons will most likely put these back to the defaults the ship come with, which again is really cool. If you're giving the ship to someone else, then you can just reset those things and let them have it while you jump in a different ship. Very cool. Field of view in this ship is really good, and we both have the rangefinder range, and you also have this manual aiming cursor on the canopy itself. So very cool there. You'll definitely need those for when you're in combat, because if you don't have them, once this breaks and the rangefinders break, you've pretty much got no way except for guessing where you're going to shoot. So very cool. There's some warning lights here, but I don't know what that's for. I don't know what that turn button was for either, and that is because this ship has one downside, I think, and that would be a lack of manual. Emergency reset switch. Interesting. And transponder code, yeah, so there is no manual in this ship, and that's something I really think most ships, if not all ships, should have, is a manual. Now let's get out of this ship. There we go. Because with all those controls, it took me a little while just off camera just to figure out in test flight mode what the hell all of this stuff did. And yeah, you've got to run through just a little bit to figure all this stuff out. And that could be made a hell of a lot easier if it just came with a manual. So if you're designing ships in the future, try and include a manual if you're going to be selling it to other players, or even if you're just using it within your own faction, it's still useful for training new pilots. Again, we've got the other versions here. If I just go a bit closer, this will load in. So this is the autocannon version, and then we'll have the laser version here. As far as I can tell, the only difference is in the weapons, so all the cost and whatnot will be the same. It's just a switch out of the weapons. Everything is the same in description. Costs are only a tiny bit different due to the weapons. Now, more beeping coming from this blasted thing. It's the last ship we have in this room, and this is a tank. This would have been made for the tank battles that a few people set up and did on the moon, which is very interesting. Not really any use to anybody outside of fighting on the moon, but it's pretty cool. I like that it's kind of got these thrusters laid out like wheels or treads, little treads, and that looks pretty cool. But if you just bear with me just a little bit, I am going to see if I can turn off this blasted beeping. Back in a sec. And we're back. There we go. Nice and peace and quiet. Yeah, the beeping from people's ships can get somewhat annoying, and so I normally have it turned off by default. Now we've got one big light on the front of this. These look like handles, but they're really not. What puzzles me a little bit about this ship is the fact that some areas are really not that well armoured or have any armour at all. We've got bare frames here, but then on the side we've got an absolute ton of armour, and I'm absolutely loving these scratches they put over everything, and they've even done it on the floor plates as well and given that a really cool muddy colour. So that looks really cool. The rangefinders on the bottom here, these will help keep the ship mostly auto leveled, because without any automatic way of doing it, you are just going to hit the ground and it's not going to be pleasant for you. So let's read the little bit that we've got. Why is there a random cable on the outside? That is very strange. So let's read the board and then we'll see if we can find our way into this tank. So this is called the Morning Star. Blitz into enemy territory with the Morning Star, a heavily armoured tank that can withstand many direct rail shots and counter with a heavily armoured rotating turret. The Morning Star comes equipped with one main cannon, armed with an Onenum turret. Included is a hover script you'll be able to use to traverse the moon. You and your military divisions will be the key to your faction's success on the moon, only evident by the trail of death and destruction left. So very cool. Very low construction cost in terms of the manufacturing fee, but quite a few different ores required in this one. Again, more Zalium here, that'll be down to the rail cannon at least. Tons of Onenum. This has also been removed from the belt. I think this is also going to be moon only, but there are other new materials that they could use for armor as well. So, moving on from the cost here, we can see this huge turret is actually armor surrounding an actual turret, which is really cool. I really like the way this has come together, and I'm liking the bolting around the edges as well. Kind of makes it look like a real tank. Very nice. But we have just the one hatch here, so let's see if we can open this up and get in. Ah, we can't even open that all the way because the turret's in the way. Okay, this must not be the way in. Looks too small to fit an endo through anyway. Let's see if we can get in underneath. Looks like we've got another hatch here. Can we open this? Yes we can. This is looking like it's just for the generator as well. Coolant stuff here. Okay. Let's close that back up. Nice little gap there left for the handles. It's pretty nice. Right, there's got to be a way in. Maybe it's at the back, and I just completely missed it. It looks like this is like a handle for something. I'm not seeing any hinges, so maybe there's a hidden button somewhere. I'm not seeing anything tucked away. No hatch at the back here. No way, so you're telling me this is the only Is this the only seat? Surely not. There's got to be a way in this thing. Okay, let's see if we can move the turret. And see if there's any default controls. No, doesn't want to shift. Certainly fires though. Let's see if we can quickly find the controls in the control setup here. Oh no, that list is way too long. Let's see if they're near the bottom maybe. Oh, there maybe? Turret pitch, turret rotation, there we go. Let's set you to a random one, like J. J? No, that was a bad idea. That goes straight to company. Okay, well, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Can't find my way in. Liking the aim though, that's pretty cool. Helps you line up shots. Very nice, very, very nice. But yeah, not being able to get in this thing is a bit of a pain. But I don't think... Aha! Oh, there's a seat in there. Can I click on that? Can I get closer this way? No, not quite. Okay, let's stand here and see if I can look in. Nope, just can't get close enough to... If I come away, maybe go completely upside down. Can we reach it? Nope, I think there's glass in the way there. Yeah, there's glass. So, you'd need to move the turret to be able to get in to this damn thing, and I'm not going to waste your time by trying to set that up. But, very interesting design. How they've got this much stuff loaded on top of one of these without it breaking is anyone's guess. This is going to be a lot of mass. This is going to turn very, very slowly if it does turn. But it's only for the moon battles, and it was made mostly for a bit of fun to do that on the moon. Obviously, you're not going to be flying this through space as a serious ship. It's all just for a bit of fun. So, the Morning Star, the tank of choice, or just a funny gimmick? Let me know what you think in the comments. I think it's pretty cool, and I'd love to try one out one day. Oh, and just quickly, look at that. These actually look like fuel cans strapped to the back of the tank. That's a really nice little bit of detail there. Absolutely great work. Awesome sauce. Well, that has been this room within the Quasar Systems shop. Join me again for another room coming shortly on the channel. Until then, this is Kenetor, and I'll see you in the next one.